Hello, John. Great to see you in your natural habitat.
How you doing? Thanks for having me, man. Cheers.
Absolutely. Scour, the first full length, right?
Yes, sir.
That is brutal.
Yeah, we had to build it up slowly with the EPs and kind of, give people a little teaser and then a little appetizer. And now it's time for the main course.
So correct me if I'm wrong. The first three Ps were supposed to make the 666, right?
That's
Six.
correct. Yes. We
Oh,
had what we had a whole plan for the band,
really?
that goes way past the gold record. So we got will we stick to what the original plans? So far we have. And hopefully we do stick to the original plans because they're really good plans
So hold
for a
on.
band.
Gold was included, is included in this plan?
Oh yeah, we had planned this out before the band even had a song. Really, like we put a few EPs out, then we put out the full length. Then I can't tell you the rest,
Damn
but
it.
it's really good though. It's a good plan.
Oh, that sounds extremely interesting because how do you put up a band and set the release schedule without even having music? I hope
Uh,
you had the lineup, right?
so a part of it, you
Okay.
know, really what we had was a set of ideas about how to do things and how to be a band. Like, uh, there's so many little things that we demand that the band members do
Mhm.
that some bands just don't even think about.
Give
It's
me one
just
example.
respect the venue would be a no one. If I saw a member of Scour throwing a piece of trash on the ground or something at a venue that we were playing, I'd pick it up myself and I'd say, "What's your problem?" You know what I mean? But they wouldn't do that. They know to respect the venue. They know to respect the bands that we're playing with. They're all seasoned veterans in the music scene. So uh, that was another thing. It's like when you're playing festivals,
Mhm.
you got to be at the right place at the right time for the meet and greet and for the sound check. And I like to know that my band members are going to be there and be happy to be there. And that's the cool thing about Scar. We enjoy it.
Being outside of this world, being at the receiving side as a fan, I was thinking that at some when you grow old enough, these things become second nature, right? We shouldn't have a list of things that we should do. However, even society needs that, right?
Right. You got to learn somehow in some way. I was in a band when my first band, I didn't know how to get a gig. I didn't know uh, the first step to even. I remember we'd have to call from our landline the venue, and the guy finally got sick of me calling every week. It was like, all right, I'll get you on Tuesday, blah, blah, blah. And we brought in a bunch of people, and that's when the ball started rolling. They
Right.
were like, okay, can you come in next month and play? It's like, yes, we can. But you had to learn somewhere about sound checks. Like, I didn't know that the reason you go there so early to load in is for a lot of different reasons. It's for the staff. Like, for example, if they say, hey, load in's at 5 o'clock, well, that means the staff's going to be there at 5 o'clock and they're
Right.
going to have the doors open for you. So they're getting paid to be there. So if I wait till 7 and just roll in, they're like, and they've been sitting there for 2 hours, they're already pissed off. They're already like, why was I here for 2 hours to do nothing? And then everything gets rushed and you're just off to a bad start. So
Correct.
there's a reason why you be there on time. There's a reason why the set list, you don't go over your set time. There's a million things. I could write a book about it. And I think
Well,
I think
that's a
someone
good,
should.
honestly, that's a good idea because I cannot recall, I can only recall one book about this stuff from the manager's perspective or the touring manager perspective. But
Uh,
giving the insights will help a lot and even will help the fans too. Because, we don't have to wait plus 1 hour for things to get ready.
right, right.
That's a good idea. So
Someday.
everything is, let's say, scheduled. So give me why, no, how the idea of naming the releases with a color, basically gray, red, black, gold.
Well, I think in the beginning it was just kind of out of ease. Uh, when we put the logo out at first, uh, it just kind of got a big reaction, and we just I don't think we called it the Gray EP at first. It was just the Scour EP. It
Right.
was just the self-titled, and then it kind of just was called the Gray. People just called it the Gray EP, and then from there we're like, ooh, we might as well kind of stick with it. But I think maybe that was Phil's idea. I don't really know. It's been so long who really came up with the idea to stick with it. But when we were making the gold record, we were calling it the gold record as like a joke almost. Like, is it going to go gold? You know, let's go for the gold. Let's go for the gold. Uh, but I really didn't know if Phil was going to call it something or if we were going to, you know, but there was, I think, a lyric with gold in it. And he said, let's call it the gold. And we're going to stick with it. All right. It's the gold record.
It's interesting because you have some sort of a minimalistic approach, and even the covers now, because you are calling the it's released by the color you are using for the logo. You have only the logo outside. So will you keep that? Keep doing that?
Maybe that's the thing. It's and like you said, all the songs are even short and sweet. The song titles are short and sweet. Uh, that's kind of the way we like to do things.
Although in the let's call it the full length, right?
Mm-hmm.
The songs are a tad longer. So that means that you had more inspiration. You guys worked together for a longer time. You had some live shows. So it kind of built up, right? It was a build up
Of
for.
course, yeah, you evolve. And like when we first started the band, of course, we had never played a show before, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And when we played our first show, we only had 6 songs. So we had to kind of like play some covers, you know, like had to fill some time. And then we're like, we better start writing some songs, you know. But yeah, once you build the band up and you jam a lot and you kind of get that the ball rolling. And I you notice with any band, if you play every night, you just keep getting better pretty much
Right.
every night until the point where it's just like it becomes almost second nature. But we had a good 2 weeks to work on that gold record, you know, just in the studio, and that really helped, you know, to tweak little things here and there.
Mm-hmm. So how long were you guys working on this before getting to the point to enter the studio and, as you said, tweak things and start recording?
Well, I'd say Derek really started writing right at the end of the release of the Black. It's like he just kind of kept going, and it took a while till it was finally like, all right, now we're ready to book studio time. We got enough songs. And then, like I said, we kind of get in there, and it's kind of Phil gets an idea. Phil says, "Hey, that riff right there. Why don't we add this or change this?" And okay, then we try it, see if it works. Oh, it works. It sounds cool. So even at the last minute, we're changing things. But it was great to where we're finally like, all right, it's all done. It took a long time as far as the mixing and mastering and the vocals. And it took a
So,
while, but it was great.
since you mentioned the mixing and the mastering, first you worked for the mixing, you worked with Dennis Israel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for the mastering, I believe it's the first time you worked with Jens Borgen.
Yes.
So why did you choose to work with these two guys?
I think it's came from Mark. I don't know if he worked with them with Misery Index, maybe. That might have been the connection. I really, he works for EMG, an Extreme Management Group. So there's a lot of different bands and people he deals with. So I'm really not sure how he got the connection, but I think it was through Misery Index.
Okay. So this Scour is not a band, does not feature musicians who are only in Scour, right? You guys have busy schedules. So how much, what was the logistics to get everyone in the same place in the studio to start recording stuff?
Well, that's the thing. The dates would change a couple times because we'll say, hey, let's do it on December 1st. and through December 14th, and then someone will come in and say, "Oh, I got to go to a wedding," or something will come up, or it's my kid's birthday, or there's a million things that can come up, but you you just kind of got to get lucky and hope everyone's got a free week or two, and once you set it in stone, you got to be like, all right, you can't go do a tour with Metallica now. You got to actually come record the record. But then things pop up, like to if Metallica calls, you got to kind of be like, hey guys, Metallica called. So things do, get mixed around. And actually, Pantera went on tour with Metallica. They're like, oh, Phil's on tour with Metallica this month or next month. It's like, holy shit. So we understand, when he's got to go tour with Metallica, it's what you got to do.
Of course. Although this is a cliche question, should we consider Scour a project?
Well, I mean, when we started the band, we were thinking like, this will be our side project, but in hopes of making it the main thing. And we thought it'd take years and years to build it up before we're doing festivals. But really, it was like within a year, we were playing Hellfest and all these big festivals and making way more money with Scour than we did with any of our bands, like really quickly. So it was, I wouldn't call it a side project when you're making way more money. You know what I mean? It's like, that's our main project. That's the one, if we could tour all year with any of our bands, we'd probably all pick Scour, because except for maybe Phil might pick Pantera because he makes a little more money there. But yeah, it's not only about money, it's about having a great time. If we toured together, we would just have the best time, ever. Every city we'd find something cool to do.
Yep. So we mentioned the scheduling. You have a guest appearance in this record, right? Gary Holt from Exodus. What did he contribute in the? I don't even know the songs because I was trying to figure out where does his solo come up, but I cannot say with full certainty.
Okay, yeah, he's on the song "Coin," and he hit it off with Derek on the final Slayer tour. Derek was on tour with the Illegals, Phil and the Illegals, opening up for Slayer, and of course, we have some guitar guest soloists on the last record. We had Pat O'Brien and Eric Rutan. So we were tossing names around, like who would be some cool names to get on the record, and we ran some names by Phil, and right when we said Gary Holt, Phil's like, oh yeah, Gary, he's a good guy, that's a good idea. So Derek messaged him, and it was that easy. We sent him the song, he says I like it, he sends back his solo, and it was great. So it was really that easy.
Ooh, great. So another thing that is special about Scour is the lyrics. So Phil writes everything, right?
Yes.
He picks some really bizarre words there. I was trying to figure out what weird luck is. I have no idea.
Well, yes, there's a lot of times where I'm saying, what are you talking about? He would say, yes. I was waiting for someone to call me out on that one. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, what? Or because even the first few EPs has some really weird stuff on it. But yeah, big words that I've never heard of. And we do backing vocals on every song. So there's times where I'm like, am I saying this word right? Because I've never even said, can you use this in a sentence, please?
That sounds funny. And I was intrigued by another word. So I believe it's Latin. Infusorium.
Infusorium. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, that came. Yeah, go ahead.
No. You were about to say about the book, the story by John Padgett, right?
Yes. Yeah. He is a local artist, a writer, and I think he was a ventriloquist, is what he was.
Too. Oh, okay. Yes, because he has the collection of The Secret of Ventriloquism, right?
Right.
I just ordered that because you guys made me.
Cool, yeah. Well, good. I'm glad he's getting some love then. That's great. That means it was worth it for him. But yeah, Phil really likes the books, and we all actually read the book before we did the video, just as kind of like a homework assignment. So
Mm-hmm.
I've read it myself, and yeah, he was a lot of that inspired some of his lyrics on the record, and there's some pretty dark, evil lyrics on the record
Oh
too.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's really cool.
So is it true the story has some Lovecraftian type of storytelling, or I read
Maybe,
this?
yeah, maybe. That's it's really, I guess, more of a Phil question, but yeah, he's of course is a fan of all that.
Well, I'm asking you since you read it, right? And
Well, yeah, well,
judging
I
by
read.
your by your T-shirt, I'm guessing you are into this weird stuff, right?
Well, sure, yeah. This is a Twin Peaks shirt, in case
Yes.
anyone was wondering. But yeah, I didn't read the entire series of books. I just read the one,
That story, yeah.
the Infusorium. But apparently, the whole group of books, he pulls little pieces from all of them.
Right. Speaking about the T-shirt, just a couple of days, right? David Lynch passed away.
Right? Yeah, terrible.
Yeah. Do you think they were talking about the season 3? Bizarre question, I know,
You
but
mean you mean season 4? So
season 4. Sorry,
yeah, yeah. So
sorry.
season, I don't think so. There was this rumor of another show
Mm-hmm.
that may have been the alternate universe, like based out of the alternate universe. Like the bad uh, detective. But that was like a rumor, and I don't know if it actually ever happened because he's so secretive. Maybe he did film some stuff, but it looks like season 3 was the end. But what a great ending! What a weird.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I said season 3 because in my mind, season 1 and 2 are kind of interconnected as one. Although part of season 2 is a little bit, the story gets sidelined because they use different writers. It was a little bit crazy.
Yeah, yeah. TV kind of
Yeah,
influenced a lot of that. And there was
but
like 20 episodes too in season 2, I think.
but man, what a ride! What a ride! Anyhow,
Oh, oh yeah.
you mentioned doing covers in the beginning of our discussion, so I have to ask, how did you pick the Killing Moon?
That was Derek's idea. He envisioned a blast beat over it,
That's
and
bizarre.
we wondered, yeah, I know. And I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna work, but it works somehow. He's like, it's gonna work. Trust me, trust me, trust me. And I'm like, all right, we're gonna do an Echo and the Bunnymen cover. And Phil luckily is into that stuff. So he's like, oh, good idea, and it worked. And so that's why we do that song. It's really
And
Derek.
I was trying to see if he changed the lyrics, but man, he's following the original. I was thinking some twisted lyrics, but no.
No, no, he does it the real way. And when we were tracking the vocals, I was like, he's like, well, I know the lyrics to that. We could knock that out fast. I'm like, oh, cool. He knows that one.
You have 3 instrumentals in the album. Although Ornaments is almost instrumental because there is a spoken part there, but I have no idea what is being said there.
Well, it's what we were doing. It was Phil and I that made all 3 of those. I made the titles for them, but when we were recording them, things would pop up like it was raining during one of them, and we're like, well, let's take advantage of that. I went outside and I recorded some of the rain, and we threw it at the end of the track, But really, it was all his vision. These different tracks, and I just kind of would kind of spice things. He'd say, well, we need a bell right there, or like a gong type sound there. We need some dark sound. But the voice was a keyboard I had, like a vocoder type microphone, and he was saying some of the lyrics from from off the lyric sheet from the record. I don't remember what song, but he was kind of, I don't know if it was like in reverse or something, but it's Phil talking into the vocoder of
Okay.
my Roland JDXI keyboard, to be exact.
I can understand the contaminated instrumental, the title, because there are some sounds like a gas leaking of some sort. However, I cannot understand why you picked Angels for the third one.
Let me tell you, because he had called the song Gold Angels originally.
Ah,
He's like, I don't know if I like the title. I was like, oh, I like that. I love that title. And then he changed it to Gold, and then Angels was just discarded. So when it was like, all right, I get to pick the names for this, and I said, well, I'm going to use Angels and see. And he goes, wait a minute,
what did
why
you
is
do?
that? Who called that Angels? I said I did, but really you did, but I did.
Oh man! So if you had done this, you would have broken the tradition of single word titles. Although you have tear gas,
Yeah.
that's the other one. So, well.
Right, right.
So scheduling. We discussed scheduling about recording. How about live touring? What are the challenges there, and what can we expect from Scour?
Well, we are playing at the Milwaukee Metal Fest,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of convenient, luckily, because Adam will be playing with Pig Destroyer in Chicago that weekend. So he'll be close to there. Also, Down plays Friday of the fest, and so does my band Nest. So we'll already be there. So we just kind of got to get Derek and Mark there by Sunday, and we're all there, you know. So it's kind of convenient, and it's cool to have multiple shows with multiple bands in one like swoop. At least for me, it is. Uh, not only do you get paid twice, it's not as much travel. It's kind of
Yes.
like get everyone. That's what I love about festivals like the Milwaukee Metal Fest or the Maryland Death Fest or the Health Fest, the weekend, because not only do you get to like see a bunch of killer bands and see a bunch of good friends, sometimes you could pop one of your bands on Friday and Sunday and kind of make a whole weekend out of it. I've done it many times, like a Heavy MTL Fest, for example, was a great one to hang a whole weekend at and play a couple times.
Although you guys, with the bands that you are in, you could make your own festival, right?
Sure, we joke about doing a Jarv Fest, which would be me and Adam. Adam and I have a lot of different bands, and it'd be like, you know, Pig Destroyer, Agoraphobic Nosebleed, Scour, Misery Index, Lock Up. You just go down the line, and you got a lot of bands, and it'd be a lot of work and a lot of fun. But wow, we could pull it off.
Okay, you mentioned Nest, you mentioned Agoraphobic Nosebleed. You have other bands. So what is the latest? What else are you working in? Because if I don't want to go through all bands, it will
Right.
take some time.
Well, the main one I'm focusing on, really, besides Scour, is Nest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the studio right now. We just finished up the guitars on a record, uh, and going on to bass and vocals next. But the drums and guitar sound really good, so I'm pumped about that. And there's really no rush to get it done. It's kind of like we're gonna make sure, take our time, make sure it's perfect. So it's great to have a studio available to me, and I could do like if I'm in the mood, I go down there and start working on vocals, and if not, well, then I won't. You know,
Do you
and
have at
it's
least in your mind when do you expect to release that?
next year, maybe 2026. Because this year will be a lot of I still got to record it. I still got to do the vocals, still got to do the bass, still got to mix and master it, still got to get the artwork for the cover and all that stuff. So I don't think it'll be rushed and put out this year at all. And I got a lot of Nest has a lot of songs in the back pocket. We did a bunch of cover songs, so I'm hoping that can come out this year.
Cover songs, interesting. Any interesting pick that you would like to share?
It's 20 different covers, 20 different
20?
bands. Yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's a wide range of classic rock into 90s alternative bands. It's a pretty good we do Aerosmith's Sweet Emotion. There's one on it.
Love to hear the vocals there.
It's hilarious.
John, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for being a Twin Peaks fan. Love that.
Right on. Thank you.
And I hope to see Scour. Well, you said Milwaukee. We will find some place to see you guys live.
Right on. Well, thanks for having me, man. Cheers.
Absolutely. Have a great rest of your day.
Hey, you too. Thanks, man. Cheers.
Bye-bye.